Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Carm Capriato. It's CarmCast. What number are we in? I'm losing track. Maybe 88, 89, something like that. We are into this new series called Why and How. And today we're going to talk about investing in digital signage and branding. Excited about this because I know what's going to come up. It's going to be really, really good for all of us to learn some things. There's my interesting and ugly mug for everyone. Good to have you here. I love doing these live shows. In fact, this week, four of them. And I'll tell you what the other two that are coming up. Yesterday, of course, we did Aftermarket Weekly. Today we do CarmCast like every couple of weeks in this new series. And we're coming to you from the Remarkable Results Radio podcast studio. And if you're with us on social media, we'd love to have you stop by. And if you're not with us, that's okay. Say hi, check in with your city, give us a like and a share. Of course, the intensity of live, we record this for our future repurposing as a podcast. And we'll have that out, I think, next Monday. I think this comes out. I have to remember all these things because we have so much going on. Hey, with me is AJ Neely from Neely's Auto Service in Edgewater, Maryland. Hey, AJ.
How we doing, Carm? Good to be here.
Good to have you here. Thank you, man. And John Klarkowski from Auto Pro Service, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Hey, man.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
We are really good, and I can't wait to get into it. We have a ton of pictures for everyone. We have some really great behind the scenes, what it takes to do this stuff, and all about branding. And look at our industry is getting so much more professional, guys, all day long, and bringing good signage and good branding to your business is going to have a really big, most important, and positive effect. Sorry, I have forgotten to turn on something in here in the studio. Look at how's business, AJ?
Oh man, we are bonkers right now. We're about 22% over this time last year, but then again, April was dark ages, I'm sure, for a lot of shops. And no, we're just so happy to see the numbers where we're at now. And I've never would have thought that I would be so happy to be stuck in traffic. It's a really good sign. So mileage is going up on vehicles, and there's a direct correlation to us being busy. So I will newer complain about being in traffic again.
Oh, I hear you. I love that. That is a great way to measure how our world is getting back to normal.
Right.
Hey, John, how's business for you?
Fabulous. Just as AJ said, you see a lot more people driving around and racking those miles up on their cars, and we're up about 20% as well. It'll be interesting to see how May is. Last year, of course, April was the big cog in the year, and so then maybe May made up for it last year. So we'll see if there's a little bit of a slowdown or if it just continues. But the activity is there. It's great.
Now, do you guys, obviously you're comparing yourself to last April, but you guys had great Marches too, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. March this year was great. Yep. And also too, we had an abnormally good January and February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. I don't know how it was for you, John, but abnormally good January and February. So this January and February was a little flat and weak. So we were down really after the first 2 months, we were down. And then, with March and April, we've really just leapfrogged that all for the year.
Well, good, guys. Thanks for the update. It's always great to hear what's going on in the world. Hey, this show is brought to you by Broadly. Now, are you seeing auto shops in your area get hundreds of 5-star Google reviews? And are you feeling left behind because your shop only has a few? Hey, look, Broadly is your answer to getting more online reviews. Now, with more reviews, your business will rank higher in search results, and that means more customers coming into your shop every day. Hey, Broadly helps you automatically request reviews so that your customers can promote your business with just one click. Now, when you immediately ask for a review after service, now that's when the experience is still fresh in your customer's mind, you're more likely to get a 5-star positive review. Plus, asking for feedback makes your customer feel valued and more connected to your business. Now, isn't that what you want, a connected customer? I bet you the answer is yes. See how Broadly can help you grow your auto shop. Visit getbroadly.com/carm. Getbroadly.com/carm. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. Yeah, I'd love to have you, give us a thumbs up on YouTube as we are broadcasting this live on my website, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, it'll be repurposed as a podcast. Hey, guys, thanks for coming on to talk about signs. We have pictures for everybody. And of course, you guys will narrate this and you'll tell us the behind the scenes story of the value of really good signage and really good branding. Let's bring up the first slide for you, AJ. And, instead of having you start out with this whole preamble, I think the story goes based on the slides that we're going to see here.
Yeah, definitely. This is show and tell here. It makes it really easy for my job. There's no script involved. But I mean, it's funny, today I just posted on my Facebook page a photo that we took 5 years ago today. And it was the day that we actually closed on the property that we're in right now. And so anyone that is a friend of mine on Facebook, they can see that photo and just how much of a dump it was. And so out front, there really wasn't much for signage at all. Just a couple of, 4x4 landscape posts coming out of the ground. And so I actually ended up, this was signage on the cheap. Okay. So I got some, this white paneling is actually something that in the sign world is called Alumolite.
Yeah.
And it's almost like cardboard, but instead of the paper outside edge with the core inside, actually uses aluminum sheet, and you can get in all sorts of different colors, and they're actually not that expensive for a 4x8 sheet. So I ended up getting a couple of these sheets, and then I bought my own vinyl cutter to make the Neely Auto graphics. So the cutter on Amazon was something like $300. I'm like, look, I can do this on the cheap, right? I know how. Let me just do it. So it was again the Alumolite. I got a similar color in a roll of vinyl. I bought the cutter itself, put the graphic in there, cut it out, applied it myself, and then down below, this was. We used to have one of those old school standalone signs that had that took this box lettering in there, and it got run over so many times that the frame itself just was destroyed. But we were able to salvage pretty much just the just that board to allow for the channel lettering. So I had a whole library of all the letters, and once a month I'd go out there and build the whole message on the shop floor and go out there and make sure I had enough letters and put it all up on there. And so I didn't really ever want to send a special to try to get people through the door. I just wanted to get people to smile. We got 20,000 cars that drive by us every day. And when they see the Neely logo and they see me in the street or something, the first thing they said was like, "Oh my goodness, we love your signs," right? Because we're right next to an elementary school, and first thing in the morning, this road, it just gets backed up with so many cars, and people just have a chance to really sit there and look at the sign, and they love it.
AJ, I have to stop you because I think you just said one of the keys to the value of a sign, and that is the number of vehicles that go through your in front of your place. Mm-hmm. Where can our fellow shop owners find that number out?
Yeah, I get it from state websites, county websites. Literally, you could just Google traffic count. I'm in Anne Arundel County in Maryland, so I can just put traffic count Anne Arundel County, Maryland, and it'll point me right to a state-run or a county-run website. And they do these studies sometimes yearly if it's a really busy road. And so I'm able to find a map, and again, the more heavily traffic roads will have a number next to it. And you can really, some of them you can really drill down. You can even see how many motorcycles go by or tractor trailers. You can really take a deep dive in some of the studies that they do. So yeah, it's just a quick Google search. You can get all that info.
Thanks for that. A great start. How about that next slide? The sign.
The sign. Yeah, this is the sign of all signs for me. We're on a road called Mayo Road, and I call this the no excuses sign. If you don't know where we are on Mayo Road, there's nothing else I can do for you, because this thing you can see from space. So I was really, again, pricey. I out the door for everything, tags, title out the door, processing fees, all that stuff, probably like 42 grand. And again, they did all the permitting.
Wait a minute. 42 grand.
Yeah.
Wow, what a beautiful new F-250 you could have bought.
Oh yeah, but F-250 isn't going to pay me back. This will pay me back.
Thank you.
So you could amortize that payment over 5 years. We were doing the math. What were we saying? Like, $700 a month, let's say, as a monthly payment over 5 years. What do we spend right now in new customer acquisition for direct mailers? I mean, we could easily say that it's about $250 on mailers. So if I get 3 new customers a month just from this sign alone, it pays for itself, right? So, and I have a direct correlation between what our drive-by referral customer base was before the sign went up and what it was after, and it was amazing. It literally doubled and then maintained that throughout the months following when we installed this, which was around March 1st of 2 years ago, I think it was, when we kind of got this up and done. So I was blown away with this thing. It was just, and especially when it lights up at night. Oh my goodness!
Next slide. Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Yeah, it's like almost something out of Stranger Things. It's like that. Just got that mystique to it. So we absolutely love it.
It does. I mean, that's just beautiful at dusk. Is that neon that goes around it?
Yeah, it's actually not really neon, but it's an electric LED strip that runs around it. But it gives it that illusion that it's a neon. But no, but love it. And so it's also, because what you're looking at from the front here is it looks like it's flat, but it is somewhat 3-dimensional. So when you're on the other side of it, it's probably almost about a foot wide, the whole actual middle part of that sign. And then the lettering in the middle is also raised from the backing, and again the Neely is lit up in that red. It just looks so cool at night when it's pitch black out.
Next picture. Now here it is, a different a view from the street, and what we did is we blew it up to see the marketing messages that you're putting up there. All kinds of great ones.
Yeah, this is so, oh my goodness. One of those things that was like a game changer for me was being able to change what the sign said in my underwear from the couch. So, I mean, shoot, there was times at midnight when I had a few drinks and my wife was next to me, and I wanted to change the sign to something really funny. So anyway, it gives me the ability to do a lot with that, which is awesome. So we still have our funny signage on there, but it gives me the ability to, like, look, we just want to get those unique selling points out there, and it's just rotating. We've got seasonal messages on there as well. We can even set it up with this particular company. So if it's scheduled to rain that day, we can do something about wiper blades. If it's below a certain temperature, you can put a different message in there. So it's really cool how it's also weather dependent. And then we're also tied into like the amber alert setting. So anytime there's like an amber alert that goes out, it's automatically going to just throw it onto the sign. So a lot of neat features with that as well.
There's a great message.
Yeah, that gets them in the door. Ooh, happy, not just technicians, happy technicians. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, already employed technicians, right? The best ones are already have a job. So
wow, it is really a sharp looking sign. I love the idea that you can program this at any time. If you had an urge that something was going on in the marketplace, vehicles, recalls, whatever, new tires, snow on the ground, ice, you could immediately just say, hey, let's do something really quick, and it changes immediately.
Yeah, and back to that other photo, that wider shot, that's a wide angle lens, so it makes that sign look pretty small. But I just wanted to kind of also show, I hired a muralist to come in and paint that logo on the side of the building. So, again, we'll talk a bit about the branding later, but it's just, it's kind of trying to over communicate that brand message. So whichever angle, because we're kind of on a corner of that street, so whichever angle you're coming in, passing the shop, you're going to be able to see the signage.
Great. Love it. Okay. Now here is how you're actually duplicating and making the branding consistent.
Right. And you know what, so when we first started this whole process, 5 years ago, we did hire a marketing firm to come up with our logo and the color, the message, and the font type. So we try to make sure that the font type is consistent everywhere. We use that. So even the address on the window to the font type on the entrance door, we just make sure that the colors and the font type, and again, there's some continuity throughout website, marketing materials, in the shop, outside the shop, everywhere.
Inside now?
Yeah, those were really cool. We found a local metal art guy that has the ability to. I don't know if it's lasers or plasma cut or something, but it's all done electronically, and he can just hit print and it'll cut it out of the metal, and that shot maybe isn't all that great, but man, when you see it in person, it looks really cool.
Now, example, what's that cost? $500 to have one of those made?
Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I had 3 of them total made, and yeah, it was probably about maybe like $250 each, something like that.
Okay.
That's probably about right. Yeah, it was probably in that world.
It doesn't seem to me that's that expensive, AJ, especially for bringing that whole environment, the whole logo branding inside. And frankly, that's a sexy looking sign.
Yeah, it's awesome. And again, we were thinking about actually powder coating it to match the colors as far as what we have in the logo. But the guy came by and showed us that raw steel, and we were all in the shop and we're like, oh yeah, let's just go with that. It looks really cool, really industrial, and it works well in the front office.
Well, thanks so much, John. We'd love to get the pictures of your place, your befores and afters. You're on, man.
So we purchased this back in 2007, and in the 80s, it was a gas station, a 3-bay gas station, and then there was an expansion made to the back of the building, so it was a 5-bay, but it still has the storefront in the front area of a gas station, the awning, the signage, and all that sort of thing. It had a lot of the signage that was used for when they had a price board up there for the gas prices and such. And so when I purchased this, it was, kind of the school of hard knocks. I didn't have a lot of money. Like AJ, tried to do a lot of things myself as much as I could. And so everything was kind of on a budget. So this was the first sign that I had put up. If you notice on the bottom, those are the removable letters. Similar to what AJ originally had, but these are up about probably 15 feet in the air. So anybody that remembers the old gas stations with the price board where you had to get out the telescoping suction cup in the middle of winter, spit on the thing to get it to stick, that's what we had to do. So it wasn't that convenient to change those very often. And so I at about probably 2008, 2009, I joined a 20 group, and I tell you what, there was such an emphasis on branding and brand recognition that really changed my mind on how all of this ties in and how important all of these things are. And so then at that point, I realized that we had to upgrade a lot of our signage. One thing that we have somewhat of a disadvantage is we're on a back street in a residential area. And so we probably, the last time I looked at the actual car traffic population on the Minnesota website, which is, as AJ stated, very easy to find if you Google it, we have approximately 3,900 to 4,000 cars a day. So not quite up there, with a lot of shops that are experiencing 20, 30,000 cars going by. But even with that, if you want to flip it to the next picture there, this is what it looks like today. We put this digital sign up, and within probably 6-8 months, we saw an increase of car count of about 20%. And so with that, we would ask a lot of our customers, new customers, how did you find us? Which we always do anyway. And we got a lot of response where it was that digital sign that you put up. I've been driving by your shop for 15 years, 10 years, whatever, and I never even knew you were there. Simple fact is people get tunnel vision when they're driving down the street, and they don't always know what's going on side to side. These signs, these digital signs, really will grab their attention. It's an amazing thing.
That to me is the big takeaway here, guys. The sign goes blind after a while, but if the message is changing, eh, that keeps people's attention. So, John, AJ, how often would you or do you change the message?
Well, you go ahead, John.
Well, we have 6 rolling messages, and they're timed at about 20-second increments, which we'll probably talk about this eventually, but every city has different stipulations to these signs. Some won't even allow them. Some they can only change so often and what have you. So to your question, though, we have about 6 that we roll. 5 are pretty much year round. The 6th is something that's either season dependent, is holiday dependent, those kind of themes. Generally, though, we just run the same messages that are pretty much our unique selling points. We used to run oil change specials on it, but we're so busy with just your regular general work that we really don't have to put specials up there any longer. But you definitely can do something like that. They're very easy to change. We tap into it online, and so we can change it from anywhere, kind of as AJ stated. So it's a very easy process. You can change that in 10 seconds.
Yeah, very similar to John. We've got about like anywhere from 8 to 10 that we run that, again, they're each one, like you said, is also about 20 seconds long. And we've got the time, the temperature, of course, that goes in there. Then like I said, our unique selling point. So it's really just a conversation starter for us. We really don't want to draw in like you said, the oil special. We don't throw a dollar amount out there. We just start the conversation. So some of the unique selling points that are going to be differentiators for us and anywhere else in the marketplace in our area: 0% financing available, loaner vehicles, shuttle, electric vehicle specialists on site, those types of things to let them know, oh, wow, and also definitely the 3 or 36,000 mile warranty. So it's really just the unique selling points, just like with John saying, that goes through. And then seasonally, we'll adjust it monthly with a different funny message or whatever it might be.
It's amazing. You will put your unique selling proposition up and on Facebook and have whatever algorithm Facebook is going to use to put that in front of your peoples. But if they go by your sign at the tune of 4,000 or 20,000 a day, there's no algorithm there. It's your message is getting out. Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it. Wow. I have to tell you guys, I am absolutely, as of this moment, sold on the digital signage because of its movement and the fact that you can program it, and the fact that if you've come up with you just added a brand new service, let's tell the world about it. Oh, let's have a marketing campaign. The sign's included in the marketing campaign. I love it. So let's look at the whole building here, John.
So this is a picture that's probably 10 years old. Back to inexpensive signage. This did not cost much to do, but at the same rate, one of the biggest things that I found once we upgraded all of our signage and went to another whole level of professionalism in the visibility and all of that sort of thing, we started to change our market, our clientele style type, rather. We were still looked at as a budget shop, a cheaper shop. I had purchased it from an owner that ran it as such, and so I had to really transition it, and it took a little bit of time. But once I did that, it was amazing. The type of customers we had coming in the door were more of what we were looking for, and that was huge. And so that's another thing is how the signage really, it's the perception that your community is going to see and think of you. It's just like the packaging on a product. You look at the packaging, and a lot of times we as consumers purchase just strictly off of that. That's kind of the bait that gets us in. And that's exactly what, when you finally realize that in your business world, that is so important, you actually can see it by the type of customers you have coming in the door.
That's a gorgeous view of your place. It does look, more professional than it did in the previous picture that we had, which just looked that was painted, but the dimensional signage, guys, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, these are letterbox signs. I like them personally, and it is kind of a style that you see on a lot of franchises and a lot of other type businesses. I don't have quite as much money into this as AJ. I'd say I have my digital sign. I have about 15,000 into it. The difference between, I think, my sign and AJ's is size. For example, my sign, I believe it looks like it's a little bit closer to the street. And so we didn't have to go probably as large as AJ did. My digital sign is 6 feet by 2.5. And then I went with monochrome, which means it's a single color. It's only red. I believe yours is full color, right, AJ?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, RGB. Yeah,
that makes a huge difference in cost. And so you need to determine, and again, it comes down to what your city is really going to allow you to do. You really need to ask these questions because they get really, really particular about even down to the brightness of the sign. And but back to these letterbox signs, I probably have about 12,000 into that sign above the garage doors. And then there's a like sign just like that on the side of the building where our customers come in the door. There's that second sign.
Yeah,
Nice.
before we get into into that right there, guys, let us speak for a moment about the towns and the cities and the ordinances and the rules. Is there anything you could share? I mean, I want to get a digital sign. You've really got to get into town and figure all of that out. Or will your sign company, if you approach them, do it for you?
Yeah, and that's why I handed the ball off to them, because they are in the industry. They do this all the time. They know all those ordinances. They know the permitting process. Probably know people at the zoning and permitting office too to just streamline this stuff, and it's just going to get to a finished product a lot quicker. Yeah, that's why they were my who, not how.
Got it. And the same with you, John. Did you get some help, or did you know people in the town?
Well, I have a real close relationship with the city manager because I'm always trying to do different things to my property, and I don't want to get too many people involved until I know what I'm up against. If I'm going to have to go up against the city council or whatever it may be, and so I asked a lot of the questions first. Was this even practical to do? And then once I found out that I could do that, and there was some rules, but they were minor, then that's when I got the sign company involved, and then they were able to orchestrate the rest of the permits and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah. A lot of them have height off the ground. A lot of them have, you can't even be perpendicular. You have to be parallel to the road. I mean, there's a lot of restrictions that you have to worry about. I don't think this is for everyone, but if you want to invest in improving your branding and your signage, I'll tell you, this was the greatest show to tell you about that. I love your the way you've brought the branding to the loaners.
Yeah, and again, I wish I would have given you more pictures. AJ's shop looks fabulous, and he's doing it right. Every single thing that you have has to have the same consistent logos and branding. It's top of mind branding. It's so important with brand recognition. And so once you get it, you follow into that, then you everything you turn around and look at has your logo on it.
And I think you brought us one more slide, and that was a little bit on the makeup. It may not, very difficult to see the details on this, but explain this.
Well, this essentially was the sign company's rendition and the specifications of a lot of the electronics in this sign. I have a pole sign, which in most cities nowadays they're not allowed any longer. I was grandfathered in. My city doesn't even allow these anymore. And so I really thought that this was going to be an uphill battle to even put an LED on it. But they worked really well with me. And it came down to one of the stipulations was it had to be proportionate, a certain percentage of what the rest of the sign was. And so this just kind of shows the dimensions. This doesn't show the top sign. The top sign, to put things into perspective, is 8 feet wide by 6 feet, including the Napa section. So that is a pretty big sign, but there again, it's 15 feet in the air, and it's only probably about 50 feet from the road, so you can see it pretty well.
Hey guys, let's come back here in a sec and let's talk about your final words and encouragement to the industry. Tomorrow, I'm going to be moderating with Coach Brian Gillis, a campsite think tank, on the importance of a workflow process. Brian, of course, is a member of the Coalition of Automotive Management Professionals. And about every 3 weeks, we do a free episode there on their Facebook page. And also, Friday, we're going to have fun Friday because we're going to talk about 10 things that require zero talent. And Doug Grills, Mike Dela Cruz, Clint White are going to come on there. It's going to be a good show, a fun show. You'll be able to take that list with you and help coach and lead your people. Hey, guys, final thoughts here on the power and the value of doing signage. AJ?
It's I think, for me starting out, of course, if it's not one of those things, it's not like if you're getting into a new shop or a new business, that it's the first thing you're going to be focused on. There's a lot of things, of course, that need to happen first, but it is an avenue that you shouldn't discount. And, in my guys in my RLO, bottom line impact group, they know that the saying I use is spend. And that goes against the grain with John Waffle, of course. But gosh, it's a capital investment, and it's funny, Carm, that you mentioned, well, hey, you could have bought an F-250 for that. But yeah, that F-250 isn't going to make me money. So that signage.
You said what I was looking to hear. I mean, you're absolutely right. It was an investment. It wasn't to spend.
Yeah, exactly. And we see the results, right? It's something that we can track, of course, because we have those processes in place to ask every new customer, hey, how did you hear about us? And like you mentioned too, John, whatever it is that is going to change what that curb image and curb appeal is like, and whether it even has to do with a sign. Could just be painting the building. It could just be redoing the blacktop, striping, and it could be those stupid, wiggly signs that the car dealerships have flying around. I mean, whatever it is going to draw their attention, that you turned ahead and it turned into a potential customer. So, not something you should be discounting.
And John, I'm going to give you the last word, but I'm going to chime in here in a minute. Go and buy yourself a gallon of paint. I don't care what color. And put it in the hands of your people. You probably heard me say this before. Go outside in the front of the building with that gallon of paint in your hands. You got to feel the weight of that, like 10 pounds of paint, right? And you got to look. You got to look, as you said. There's the grass, there's the cracks, there's the blacktop, there's all this stuff that just doesn't look good, curb appeal-ish. Then you take that gallon of paint, you walk through the building, you walk in your restrooms, you walk outside, you walk in the lunchroom, and you start realizing what an inexpensive way to do a facelift on your place with paint. The cheapest probably form of, little elbow grease, little elbow grease cleaning and painting. But, getting into the signage and big branding stuff costs more money. But what a place to start while you're waiting to figure out your signage issue. Thanks for letting me opine on that. John, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I would just say it's about the professionalism, and that will really dictate the clientele that you have coming in your door. It really will. And you can't be looking at this in the small picture. It's a big picture investment. And so if you're going to invest 20 grand into this, let's say, I tell you, you're going to get at least a 10% increase in car count. The clientele quality is going to go up on the customers. I can tell you, I tracked this, and the day that I put that digital sign up and did all of my signage changing, we are now doing at least $120,000 in revenue sales per year because of that sign. The car count went up 10% just by itself. So
looks like you paid for it.
Absolutely.
Over and over and over again. And that's the key. What can you invest in to bring in a specific amount of revenue each and every year that you can count on? AJ Neely from Neely's out in Edgewater, Maryland, and John Klarkowski out there in Minnesota. Guys, thanks so much. Wonderful episode. Great stuff that we can listen to over and over again. And anyone who is concerned about branding and signage, this is the place to come. This CarmCast. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.